Welcome back to the channel. This is ASA Studio channel for photographers. Here it's another retouching tutorial, and at the end of the video I'm going to be showing you how to create your own custom frequency separation action. So this video is not actually to teach you how to edit, it's actually to show you some problems and how to fix them if you find them or if you come across them in your images. Alright, so let's dive right into it. Now, as you can see the way the photo is, I can actually analyze some faults that are already there. First of all, look at the eyes, and that's one fault. Look at the lips, and also the hair, and also the exposure, and we're just going to be fixing. We can also look at the roughness of the skin, the rashes, and all of that, so much more, and we're going to be fixing all of this. So if you come across these problems or these little things in your photos, just find out the perfect solution with the steps I'm going to be taking right now. So first of all, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to balance the exposure. If you find out that your photo is actually looking like this, you can actually click down the adjustment layer and then go to exposure. You can use contrast, but I don't want to do contrast. Now the exposure is not the one you're going to adjust, even the offset. The one you're going to adjust is the gamma correction. Taking it back will make it look more whiter. You can see that that is actually the fault of the photo, and if you take it down a little bit, it's going to remove that whiteness you see before, just like this. And we can leave it at that, or you can also take it down a little to make the photo look interesting. Now since we fixed that, you can actually see that a lot of details and whiteness is actually gone. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to correct the white balance, but I think camera raw filter is the best solution for this, but let's try and figure out a way we can actually do that. But before the white balance, let's take a look at the skin tone. You can see that on top of our lips is actually black, and some places are actually brownish, and the rest parts. But there are two things you should have in mind. Is it that you want to make it black, or you want to make it this look like this? But as you can see, I can tell from the image that the real color of the lady's skin is actually black from the jaw and the rest. These just like different variations. So let's just grab hue and saturation, and why I'm not going to use hue and saturation for this is because this is actually black and it's not actually going to, let me show you what I'm talking about. I just clicked the black part, and if I increase, you see that it's actually selected. Now I'm going to move the slider, and you can see that the part is not you can actually select those black parts no matter how you move it. So that's the problem we have with the black parts. So that is why I'm going to actually use the fair, this one right here. So just click on the hand tool and sample somewhere like this, and increase the hue and saturation. And after you increase the hue and saturation, you can dance about with this. Alright, so this is actually representing, so I'm going to leave it somewhere around here, and I'm going to drag this a little bit back to grab those places. You can also shift this back a little bit and make it look smoother. I'm going to bring this back, and I'm going to bring this back also, so you can test run your image and look for the perfect place. So I'm going to take it just a little bit forward to cover up the places we need. Okay, so that's actually looking good. So let's turn it off and on. You can see that the yellow part is actually selected. Okay, so bring back this to 0, and this time around we need to decrease the saturation of those places, just like that. You can just see the quick changes it made to our skin. Can take it back a little bit, and then we can actually mess around with this and make the image look. So I'm going to bring it back like -6 or -6 is actually okay, and we can also bring it back a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and I'm going to zoom out so you can see the before, and then you have that the yellow part is actually gone. You can also do it twice. You can go grab another one, hue and saturation, and then with the hand tool click on this part of the image somewhere around there and increase the hue. And after increasing the hue, you can mess around with taking it off is actually going to leave it on the brighter side, and taking it back is going to leave it on the darker side. So I want it on the darker side somewhere like this, and I'm going to click on before and after. You can see the red part is actually the places that are selected. I'm going to drag this a little bit to catch those places. I'm going to bring this one also to the back, forward like so, till we get something close. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out and turn it off and turn it on, so we can know what we're actually adjusting. Now if we take a look at what we are adjusting, we're adjusting both the hue and the saturation. Okay, so now I'm going to bring back the saturation a bit, just like that, and let's see about the hue, and boom, so we are actually there, just a little bit of what we are doing. So you can check out the lips if at all you don't. So the lips didn't actually change, everything is back to normal except the part of our eyes. So I'm gonna go grab the brush tool and decrease the brush size, turn the brush to black, and I'm gonna turn off this one, and you can see what I just want to get back is the color from the makeup. So I'm just gonna paint it like this and like this and like this. So that's one way to fix fix your image having different skin variation. So I'm going to turn on this one and just remove it from where we actually don't want to see it. Okay, you can as well remove it from the lips if you feel like it's actually disturbing. So but I don't think it is for now. I'm also going to remove it from this one. Let's turn it on, and I'm going to make it smaller and remove it, and then remove this just like that. Alright, so I think we're good with this. So now I'm going to create a stamp visible layer, and one thing I want to do, I want to fix the perspective. I want to align our head and make it straight, and also do some other things to adjust the image to make it look okay. So the first we're going to go, let's go straight in the image. So go to filter and camera raw filter. So here we are in camera raw filter. I'm going to go to the geometry, and I'm going to just click on auto, and you can see it's actually going to balance it by itself. So you see what it did, and now you can also try to affect the way you want to balance it. I guess that should be under geometry. So open geometry back, and let's try and rotate. Let's see whichever one. Something like this. I'm just going to rotate it just a bit, and it's actually going to be straight like this. And let's see the offset. So let's just offset is not up doing anything. Okay, so let's still find out to rotate things horizontally. So something like this. You can see the way I rotate it. If you take it back, she's actually going to fix the back part. So I'm trying to bring her back facing me. Let's also give some rotation. So I guess this is straight, and make this look more like this. Okay, so I'm going to click on OK to finalize the photo. And remember, okay, let's try and rotate it back a little bit. So this is good. So I'm going to click OK on the keyboard, and then we have this changed in the perspective. Okay, don't worry about the background right now, we can actually adjust that. So I'm going to group all these together, shift hold and click on this and group it together. And under this one I'm going to create a new layer, so drag it down, and then we can do some content aware fill. Okay, but before that, let's create a new layer from this one. Let's turn this off and on, create a new layer, Ctrl Shift E, click on this, Ctrl Shift alternate E. Now on the new layer I'm going to turn this on. I'm just going to quickly edit that. So click on the move tool, hold down control, and I'm going to bring this one down here, align it something like this, so it's actually aligned. And I'm going to drag it up, and you can see this part. I'm going to just merge the two layers together and grab the mixer tool brush, so you can use this to fix something like this. If you get to see a line, make use of the mixer tool brush and blend the two together. And remember, you must first of all merge the two layers together so it won't be that visible. So I'm just going to merge it together like that. And this one also, you can actually merge it, or just use the mixer tool brush and later use the content aware tool, which is this one, spot healing tool. Just going to drag a straight line and then boom, it's gone. Okay, so you can take your time, but for the sake of the video, let's continue. Now what I'm going to go to the Liquify tool, just because I want to adjust the face. So let's go to the Liquify, use the Liquify tool to adjust the face. So here we are in the Liquify tool, and I'm just going to make this look a little bit slimmer. Okay, and bring this head downwards a little bit and make this also more slimmer. Okay, let's bring up the jaw, and for the nose, I actually think we need to make it smaller. And let's pick up the forward wrap tool, and you can see some deformity in the nose. I wish we could actually make use of, but let's just try and adjust it. So I'm going to drag this in a little bit and drag this in a little bit. Okay, so I want to shift this one right like this, so just to make it look, shift it right, and the one below, make it small and shift it forward and down, not to, remember we're not trying to, I'm going to undo that and do it again. Okay, so I'm going to bring these not down, that's too much. Just try and balance it with, yeah, I guess because I'm using the mouse, so I'm just going to do it again, just more a little bit. Okay, so push this in, push this in. All right, push this in and push this in. Okay, I think it's actually more wider now. Yeah, so we can also bring this part of our jaw out and push it out and push this out. Okay, and we can take this in, and so we are actually good. I'm gonna make this, push this place, not that place, yeah, somewhere like this in. Okay, all right, so and this one I'm gonna bring it closer. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this up a little bit up. Yeah, so it looks as if, yeah, I think that's actually okay. So just take it up a little bit. All right, so we can actually drag this up to completely fill those places, and you know what to do. You can leave that alone. All right, so this is actually looking okay for me, and I feel like we can also use the tool clockwise. So let's make use of that. Oh, that's too much, just a little bit. That's Ctrl Z. I don't want to do the big face, just somewhere like that. So hold down shift and let's not that too much. Okay, so I found out somewhere the lips, so bring it down. I'm gonna bring it down, then I'm gonna adjust the lips a little bit, something like this. Okay, so now the lips is actually aligned. I feel like this place needs to come down like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hit preview before, turn off the preview, and then the after. Yeah, okay, let's Ctrl Z that, and I think we're good with the way it is. Z. Let's take it up, make this one smaller. I'm gonna take this in, take this, make this go inside, not to deform the photo but to adjust. Yeah, so take this down. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK, and then this is what we get from the full image. So you can see the before and then the after. Okay, so we're actually getting there. Now we can make the air. Let's go back to filter, because we want to correct the white balance. Go to camera raw filter, or you can use the one there. So I'm just going to use camera raw filter. So here we are in camera raw filter. So just go to the basic tab, click on the eyedropper tool, and then let's zoom in, and I'm gonna hit this, and you can see that it's actually white, but I don't want that white kind of morning feel. So let's put it at auto, and you can see there's no difference. So a shot gives us this, you know. So let's try and look for what's white. So I guess this highlight is actually white, so let's pick on it. Better than the auto, which is the morning look. And I'm going to go to custom back, and we can actually set which one manually. So let's bring it back. I'm going to make it more warmer like this, more warmer like that. So we can hit preview before and then after. So just back to where we were before and after. I'm going to turn it off and on. Okay, so now I want to increase the highlight. So let's take the highlight all the way up, that's 2, and bring back the whites. Okay, for the shadows, I feel there is no shadows, but we can actually increase the shadows to make less shadows, and bring down the blacks to create more dimension. We can increase the texture even when we've not done frequency separation. And what else? I think we're going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to click on OK. So we have this, just a little bit, you know, separation. All right, so now let's start with the air. Now go to the hue and saturation. First of all, open it down, go to filter, select, I want to make the air black, and I guess I have a video like that. So select color range, and after selecting color range, you can actually pick on the air, hold down shift, and then sample more space, just like the way you have right now. And I'm going to sample more space, and I'm going to increase the fuzziness just like that. Not too much, just small. That's 26. Let's put it at 18. Okay, 20 will do then. 20. And then I'm going to click on OK. So let's remove the brush. Let's use the brush tool to remove it from where we don't need it, which is the black is selected. So I'm just going to decrease it more, and then paint it where I don't want it at all. Oh, that's not black. Ctrl Z. So let's make this foreground color black, complete black. Okay, complete black, and then click on OK, and I can remove it from where I don't need it, like I said. Okay, so just one part remaining. Now that since we've done that, we can open up, and you know what to do. Desaturate, something like that, just a bit, so you can see before and then after. The black is actually there. We can decrease the lightness and bring down the saturation the more extremely to the end. I'm gonna hit the right button, and what we want to do next is to focus on the eye. So something I usually do is a solid color, and click OK. I'm gonna turn it off. I want to make corrections to the eye, but I want it to look real, because if I just correct the eye by making it white, it's actually not going to make the photo look real. So I'm trying to use the solid color adjustment, and this time around I want to make a sample, I'm going to sample the eyes, and you can see the color it picked. You can click on OK, turn it on, and then you know what to do, turn it to divide. And so this is actually very white. I'm going to open it up again, and I'm going to increase this till the photo look real to me, so something like this. And now it's actually very bright, of which I still like it the way it is. Let's turn it off and on so you can see. I'm going to decrease the fill. Let's decrease the fill and make it look real. Now after decreasing the fill, we can now start doing some frequency separation. So I'm going to quickly do the frequency separation. You know how to do frequency separation. Okay, I promise you that we're going to be doing some frequency separation, showing you how to create frequency separation. So I'm going to turn it all off, and I'm going to group everything together. Hold down shift and then group this together. So we're dealing with this one. Now go to the layer, go to new, and make background from layer. So it's going to make this one the background. Okay, so ignore, just pretend like this doesn't exist, the group 2, or you can actually delete it. Let's just delete it. Okay, so now this is how to create your frequency separation. First of all, don't make permanent changes. So the next thing we're going to do, just hold down, go to Windows, Actions. If you cannot see actions, now you can create new folder for it and type frequency separation, because you want to create frequency separation, and then a folder will be created and it will be opened. So look at this plus icon and then click on it, and it says action 1 set. You can name the actions frequency separation 8 bits. So we are creating frequency separation for 8 bits image, and then you click on record. Now whatever you do, is Photoshop is going to record it. Now just follow the simple step, hit down Ctrl J twice, and it's going to record it for you. And you're going to turn off the first layer, and then select the second layer, and then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and you're going to blur it like the way you want to blur it. Just blur it to some extent. Just blur it. In fact, it's just an action, so you can always come back to change this thing later on. But for me, I'm just because I want to use it to edit the image, I'm going to blur it. So like, let's say the more you blur, the more. So I'm just going to blur it 3.9, and I guess that's okay. But let's just say 3.5. It's okay, and then click on OK. Now after creating your Gaussian blur, look at this box where my mouse is, click on it, and that is going to make you choose a value. Whenever you run your frequency separation, it's going to stop at that Gaussian blur, and then you choose your blur. And after that, go back to your layer and then click on layer 1 and select the layer 1, and then open it up. You can see that I make it visible by clicking it, and then don't do any other thing. Go to image, apply image, and then make the settings on the layer, change it to layer 1, and change the blend mode to subtract, scale to offset 128, and the rest should be like this. And then click on OK. And when you click on OK, change the blending mode to linear light, and then you are back with your image. You have actually separated the texture and the skin tone, which is the skin color. Now that's not the end. Hold down this one and select it, and then press Ctrl G. Open it up, select your layer 1, and then go here and select your mixer tool brush and make the setting above. You can choose any other settings for you, and once you've done that, click on the stop icon, and your frequency separation action is ready. Wherever time you can actually run it anytime, as far as you make sure that this Gaussian blur is actually the box on the Gaussian blur is actually ticked. You make sure it's on. Okay, so anytime you can run your frequency separation, and then you can actually make use of it, and boom. So that's how to do a frequency separation action. if you want to do it later on, you can text run it and it's going to do the same thing. So now I'm just going to go ahead and continue the image editing. So I'm going to choose the layer 1, and this is how to use it. Now with the brush settings like this, and you know what to do, and you start adjusting the color of the skin tone by just blending the skin tones all together. So make sure you don't actually ruin the highlight. So unlike this one, I undo what I just did. I'm trying to blend the image again, so avoid the highlights. You can see some highlights here, I'm avoiding it, and I'm going to do all this, and when I'm done I'm going to show you what I did. All right, so I'm actually retouching the texture, so you can see how small my brush is, and the clone stamp tool brush is, and I'm making just tiny changes to some places, so it won't be so visible that I did some frequency separation, or that I actually removed more of the skin tone. So you can see, just paying attention to the details, some places that looks like it's arches, so you can just see and I turned off the I turned on the align, so it can actually align those brush to those places. Okay, so you can see our forehead very smooth. Okay, so you can also hold down Alt and then cover up some places you feel like. Alright, so I'm done with the frequency separation, and you can actually see the difference, but let me just quickly adjust the top part of our hair and bring it down, and I'm also going to do top of the hair to make it more uniform, so something like that. If that's too much, I think it's killing the highlight, so that looks good to me. And can also, okay, let's leave all that alone. All right, so one other last thing we need to do is to apply some color grading. So let's see where we come from here, frequency separation to this side, so from this to this. Okay, all right, so I'm going to make a selection of the background quickly, and let's go to filter, select color range. So let's select the background. I'm going to hold down shift and select more of the background, and something like this. And since we select the background, we can click on OK, and we can just quickly go to hue and saturation, and we're going to create the hue and saturation. And on the mask, we can deselect, hold down Alt and C, and I'm going to erase it. I held down Alt and I click on the mask to bring this icon back. So I just want to erase the white part on the face, because I just want some places to be dark and not all our body. So something like this. I'm gonna hold down Alt and click again, and so now we can decrease the saturation if you feel like you want to make it darker, or you want to increase the brightness, whatever you want to do. So I just feel like changing the saturation of it, and we can make it more cooler like this, so something not too bad. Bring it down a little, and let's see what fits the most. Can bring it down, and let's see something that has to do with the bluish kind of feel. So this one looks better for me. You can as well decrease and increase just a bit of the background. It's actually a very dull background, but you can decrease the flow, the opacity to something like this one. Okay, so one last thing, just before and after, we can actually decrease it to more like color grading. So one thing, I actually wanted to decrease the opacity, so something like this. something like this. So let's decrease the opacity a bit. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to apply the melanin LUT. So just click on the melanin LUT, load melanin cube LUT, and boom, we have this melanin fill. You can see how black she looks and amazing it looks. All right, so you can see the application of the melanin LUT. I'm just going to close this action, and one thing I actually find out is this one, we can actually decrease the brightness back a little, and it's gonna make the photo shine. And you can bring this back also, but not too much. I don't want it to make it look so real. Okay, and we can increase the opacity till we get something good. So not too much, just 24 looks good to me. Okay, so we can bring it back, and let's apply some color grading. And I think the color grading, so open up the color balance, and I just want to put in some red, give it some cyan and some yellows. Don't worry, just a little bit change. Can give it some blues, and let's give it some red and bring it back a little. Okay, so, and I'm gonna decrease the opacity to right about 15. Yeah, and then we're done with our image. All right, so I'm gonna group all these together, create a stem, visible layer, Control Shift Alternate E, and let's see where we came from, and then these. All right, so thank you so much guys for watching. See you in the next video. If you find some helpful tips you can actually use to enhance your images, feel free to let me know in the comment section. For now, see you in the next video. Thank you.